Okay.
hmm
Hello, Fatima.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Good. Yeah. Um,
What's coming to your mind today?
well, I'm thinking about Miriam,
hmm
and since I did your workshop with you yesterday,
hmm
um, those qualities, those attributes, and meditating on not only being able to manifest, but being able to manifest, it's that sense of having mercy on yourself
hmm
was something that was very important, because I think for me, there are so many things that I am learning to understand in life still. I've always, I guess, until I'm not in this life anymore. But having that thought of centering around having mercy on yourself was very opening because if I do that, I'm much more open to receiving. I can put a period there. I'm much more open to receiving if I'm having mercy on myself because then there's no conversation about what you deserve, why you want something, why so that yeah, that's been on my mind. And other than that, eager. I'm eager to hear more of the story.
Well, it's funny how you said the word open. And before we continue with the story of Miriam, from the chapter Miriam in the Quran, something came to my mind out of nowhere this morning, is just to share where the Quran talks about the openings for Miriam and the receiving. And then I said, oh, let me share this first, and then we continue with the story. And the other thing is, Miriam is like, I call her, she's like the change herself. Herself is a symbol of change and a new paradigm for humanity. That's how she is. But let me share with you the document that came to my mind this morning. I've done this a while ago with my own students that were taking the story of Miriam, and it was done back in, yeah, it says here 2021. So from chapter El Imran, when it brings Miriam, when she was receiving that message of like she is basically special, it says when the Malaika, usually in the Bible they translate them angels, and they just want to keep it Arabic word Malaika because it means to me totally different how people perceive angels, with wings and all of that. And for me, Malaika is just like means, a larger consciousness system, or maybe more system of information communicated.
Mm.
Yeah, Maryam. Okay, oh, Maryam, indeed, Allah selected you. So this word selected is is basically you just don't select someone from all these people on earth unless they were ready for it. Like, so she was ready to be selected, and refined you. So after the selection, she must have been going through some tests to show, like, okay, I can handle it. And that helps everybody who's on the path. And then it says, and it repeats the word selected you again. So you see it's repeated. It selected you over the less advantaged ones. Unfortunately, in any translation you go out and check, they put this word nisa as women. But no, the word nisa is a plural for those who are less advantaged, whether they are male or female. So that's why I call her, she's a symbol for a paradigm shift. So there was like the powerful ones are taking over, enslaving the other people, and now she was selected to bring that change, and that's why Jesus, we will see his teaching. And then it says, O Miriam, be dedicated to your Rabb. So now you're selected. So put the dedication to what you were selected for. And yield. Yield is usually let go to receive. And then it says allow with the allowers. I don't know if this word allowers is an English word, but I just put it because in Arabic it says and allow with those who allow. I can maybe translate it like that. And I'm getting now to talk about the openings. And I'm bringing a chapter, this Al-Mursalat chapter. It doesn't even talk about Miriam, but I'm bringing it for one reason that you'll see. It says when the stars are wiped out. So let's say if there are no stars at night, or I say there are no clouds during the day, and it says وَإِذَا السَّمَاء فُرِجَتْ. This word sama, usually they translate it as sky, but I like to say whatever is above, because the origin word means something above you. So when the above is opened, so there is the word open in the Arabic. And why I'm bringing it to show when something opens up, comes from above, okay, whether we translated the sky or something above you, because sky, you take it like, oh, it's a literal, it's the sky above earth. But when you say what's above, you can move further to a non-physical reality. And this is what happens to Miriam. So here is the chapter that talks about Miriam. It says, and Miriam, the daughter of Imran, who guarded her opening. So she had an opening, okay? And then what did we do to her opening? She guarded it. Usually we're going to talk a little bit about how do we guard the opening. And it says, and so we expanded into it. And I'm putting this in green for a reason. So we expanded into it. This is the Arabic for the opening, like you say, the attached pronoun that is referring to her opening. So we expanded into her opening from our consciousness. So as if like the larger consciousness system is saying, we expanded into Miriam in her opening. So she had an opening, but she got support and help. There is this expansion into her opening. That's why I wanted to say when you see Sama, we wanted to make it not only our sky, something literal above earth, but it could be beyond that, something above you. And then she did something. She confirmed, she had faith in her Rabb's words and its books. So basically, she had knowledge from the scriptures that were before her, okay, and was of the devout. So she was among the devout people. So basically, she took that command of dedicate and devote yourself. So that's in chapter At-Tahrim. But in chapter Al-Anbiya, and I like to refer to chapters for the listener if they wanted to go check, and they may find the difference in translation. But I have my reasons why I'm translating this. It's after like 40 years of research and learning the letters or the sounds of the letters. In this chapter, it says, and the one who guarded her opening, so it's referring to Miriam from previous verses in the same chapter that I didn't want to take too much time to bring everything. But it says, and the one who guarded her opening, so expanded into her. Now, this is in green, and this is in green for a reason. Now, the attached pronoun here does not refer to the opening like above, but it refers to her. So we expanded into her from our consciousness, and we made her and her sign a sign to the words. So you can see at the beginning when we started with chapter Al-Imran, it says like she was selected among the less advantaged ones. But in this chapter here, it says we expanded into her opening, we expanded into herself. Why? Because we made her and her son a sign to the worlds, not only the less advantaged one, but the entire world of, call it the humanity. So this is really my observation from those verses about the opening. And then it's also teaching us when you start to open up, devote yourself to open up, have mercy on yourself, like you said, to open up, then the system will work with you and expand into it. And then the other verse says, expand into her. So she became, in a way, consciousness in a form, pure consciousness in a form. So I don't know what you picked up after this.
Well, your explanation hit on what I was thinking was like, from a perspective of a greater consciousness system, if one can have an opening, uh, then you become, I guess what I've heard is a person of interest to the greater consciousness system.
Exactly.
Because, oh, there's a receptiveness there. This is someone who can help.
Mhm.
Um, if I can help to expand this person's consciousness, then this is an outreach for other people,
Yeah.
for the world in general, and
Mhm.
allows this work to be done. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I took from it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what I felt when I was like reading those verses. Now, unfortunately, if you go to the translations, they don't translate the word opening, which I digged into the root word, into the dictionary, and they found that forge is opening. Unfortunately, they translated that she guarded her private parts and she did
Yeah.
not get married.
I wondered about that. That it was going to be interpreted that she kept herself a virgin or whatever, you know.
But I was saying, well, I kept myself virgin and I was not selected.
Yeah.
Everybody kept themselves. Most women do.
Yeah, that this opening was something quite different.
That's why I had to bring the verse about the sama, the sky. So, is the sky have an private
Yeah,
part?
yeah. It's really a good point because I'm thinking of all the times that we as a human being, we think small. We keep looking at the small picture.
Yeah,
So you get this thing like, oh well, because she was guarding her private parts, or it's like so much more there. And it's
yeah.
such a small picture, which is interesting because that's a closing.
Exactly. But
But
what bothered me how they translate this since I was a kid, it always bothered me, and maybe that's why I was able to receive the true information about that word. Is I memorized the Quran as a young kid. So I'd be like I said, I'd be cleaning and cooking at very young age with my mom, and I'm reciting the Quran. And every time I hear the opening of the sky, as a young girl, you say, but the sky doesn't have private parts.
yeah,
Like that's
you're
what I
right.
would I would tell myself. And as a young girl, I will look up, but it does not. Why? And the Quran is using the exact same word.
Yeah,
Alas, this God is mixing words, which it doesn't make sense because a good poet is not going to mix words,
right.
let
It's so,
alone if it's God. So
yeah, it's so interesting, to think of it in that interpretation, that small interpretation is like, yeah, well, then what's special? We all have an opening, it's like, okay, that small picture just doesn't serve the
yeah,
great purpose.
yeah, but it's good how I would say when you're a child and you ask questions, just keep following with them. So I needed a proof that what we read in books is not true. So I kept following with that question. That's why now when I teach and educate like the little ones, or I teach teachers to teach the little ones, I always emphasize on let them ask questions. Let them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it helps. Okay, so now we'll go back to our chapter, Miriam, and where is share again? And we'll continue with the journey of the chapter itself. So we finished with the first segment, and now we start the second one. And now it starts with, and remember. So always there is a remembrance. And I love how the Quran teaches with that remember. So it must be something if we just like let go of the programming, we're going to remember the truth. And remember in the book, okay, Miriam in the book. So the book, I always say, the book, it does not mean here we're talking about Torah or Quran, or we're talking about the book of life, or what Tom calls it in his model, the database, or what they say in other cultures, the Akashic records. So it's the book of life where we have everything is there recorded. So, and remember Miriam in the book, when she withdrew from her qualified ones, and maybe the best thing for this, and I just received it this morning, but I did not change it because I was trying to find it. It's her inner circle. So she used to spend time with people, family or friends or teachers. That was her inner circle. But she had to take herself out of it, and she find uh, a space, whether it's like literally eastern space, some people they translate it eastern, but usually east is in the Arabic word, it comes from what we say sharq is because there is the sun that is going to appear. So the really root word of sharq is to appear, whether it's the sun or it's another space that she took where something is going to appear in her life. So I didn't really want it to translate literally east. I just wanted to keep whether it's an eastern place or a space where something that is going to appear to her, or it's both. It happened to be an eastern place and something appeared to her. That, which we're going to see what is going to appear to her. So she took a barrier from them, from her inner circle. So she took a barrier from them, and that's the word hijab. I mean, it became a comment that they call our scarf hijab, but really in the Quran, it's not that, because the Quranic teaching, it tells you a barrier is when you put like boundaries or you move away from a situation. So she created a barrier to herself. So when she did so, and she had to do so, and that is connected to receive, to get some openings, you need to let go of your inner circle or belief or programming or whatever. It says after she did so, when she did so, what we did, we sent to her our consciousness, okay? And our consciousness appeared to her as a completely human. So basically, a non physical entity cannot just come to you uh, unless you receive just information if they stay in non physical. But here, it really took a physical form, and this physical form is a complete human. So consciousness took a physical form. Okay, that's what it says here, and we'll see where it leads.
So
And
I
then,
have a
huh?
question. I have a question.
Go ahead.
So when, oops, probably from
Oh,
that, but when it said that she went to her apparent space, an apparent space,
yeah,
can that also be an internal space?
it
In
could.
other words,
Yeah.
is
The word sharq in Arabic, it's really the root word of it where something is going to appear.
mhm.
And then when we talk about the east or west, in Arabic we say shuruq al-shams, but when you really dig deep, you'll find it's because the sun appears. Like there was no sun and then it appears. So
Okay,
we call it sharqiyya. So
yeah.
it could be also she wanted to go deep to
That she isolated from her, even from her
isolate.
circle, so that she
Oh yeah,
could expand.
she could expand. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah. And then when she did so, it says consciousness took a form. I
Right.
call them the non-player, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
It's like Tom's stuff where Uncle Fred, you'll see you'll see it in a form that you can communicate with.
yes,
It's that it's if it's data or if it's consciousness creating something for you to communicate with, they'll put it in a form that you can
yeah,
communicate.
communicate with, exactly. And then what it says is, she said, I seek refuge from you by the creative, compassionate energy, if you were aware. So basically, she's making a point. If you're aware of the creative energy that I'm tuned in, you better be careful and don't harm me anyway. I'm going to seek refuge with that. So he said, oh, the spirit here, the man spirit, he said, I am only a messenger of your God. But what's my purpose? To grant you a developed young boy. And here I put it in red, and that could be very controversial topic because he's not saying, I am a messenger of your God to give you the message that you're going to have a child. No, he is saying, so I grant you. It
Right.
doesn't say the God grants you. I grant you a developed young boy. And she goes like, how can I have a young boy when no human has touched me and I never saw it? Like I was never looking to basically have a relationship and have a child or get married and have a child.
I
Then
was busy protecting my opening.
and then he goes, it is as your gut communicated. It is as your, it is light upon me. It's very light upon me. And we truly make him a sign for the people and the mercy from us. So basically, he is that messenger who took a form. He's telling her, your Rab, your God, it's saying this is light, but we have a purpose here. Is this boy is going to be a sign to humanity, to people, and also a mercy. And that, and then he ended up, which is, I have it highlighted, and it was a decided matter. Yeah, basically, you have no choice. We are telling you this is a matter. So then what it moves to the next step where it says, so she carried it, and I'm very careful with carried it, not carried him. This is not the pregnancy because this is the attached pronoun that goes to what's before it. And what's before it is the decided matter. So she carried that matter and withdraw herself by it, by that matter, which is the matter of having a child, and this child is assigned to humanity and mercy from us to a far place. So now she went far away. And I don't want to continue until we discuss a little bit this. So to me, is this messenger when he took a form, human form, because he is now in a physical reality, she's in physical reality, and to have a child, you need to go to the rule set of this physical reality. So he took that form to help her have the child. So it's not like this miracle, oh, she's just pregnant, we don't know how. No, the Quran is explaining it has to go through this process. And I strongly believe in non players from my own experience. And I'm going to share this quickly with you and then take your questions. A long time ago, I was kind of going back home with two kids. I was like only 22. And I mean, my ex-husband did not put the luggage to go directly from New York to Algeria. So I'm in France, and they told me like, oh no, you have to pick up your luggage and go to the other terminal and put your luggage again to go from France to Algeria. And then they asked me to pay. I didn't have the money. That was quite some. I didn't have the money. All I had is my two kids. I'm not going to sell them to pay the luggage. But anyway, and I pulled myself with my luggage and I did that sincere call. I don't have the money, so we'll see what happens, but I need your support here. And I was like, young, the two kids are young, they're crying, one is 2, one is 4, and I'm stuck now. And here later on, that lady calls me back to go back, and she said, your uncle just came and paid for your luggage. I don't have an uncle. And I said, where is he? And the guy is not there. He disappeared. Someone came, did what he's supposed to do to help me, and then disappeared. So to me, if I experience, okay, someone taking to the farm helping me with a matter that's in this physical reality and then disappeared, I have the tendency to believe that was the job of that messenger, not to give her the message as they say, oh, you're going to get the message, you're going to be pregnant, miracle way.
Yeah.
And I used to believe in the miracle way. I used to believe in that until recently I started to, just sit down and meditate about the verses, and that's what I received. And I know it's controversial, whether with the Muslim world or non-Muslim world, but this is my truth and that's my experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, to me, it makes much more sense,
Hmm.
you know, that it would be accomplished within the physics rule set once it was happening here.
Yeah.
Makes much more sense, you know.
So,
Yeah.
so we'll see the comments of the viewers of the video.
How dare you?
Okay, I guess we did a lot today. It's a lot to uh, take, and we'll continue next time, I guess.
Sounds good. It's been wonderful.
Oh, thank you. No more comments, no questions?
No, this is good. This is really eye-opening as far as the journey between, as we first discussed, I'm not a religious person. So that journey between the religious teachings of the various stories of Mary and all that stuff. And again, that flesh and blood reality, if you will,
Yeah.
you know, and we talked about Miriam coming to both of us in various ways. I mean, I've had her do some insanely funny things. She's very real, she's very grounded.
Yeah.
And so it's really good. It's really helpful to me to hear it in this interpretation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll continue next week.
All righty. Thank you.
Bye bye.